Okay, now that we have our bank reconciliation complete and we did have a service charge, we need to record that service charge on our check stub. So what we're going to do is just go to the next unused check stub and we're going to record that. So the 3 steps for recording this is to write service charge $8 under other. So write the service charge under the other section. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just referring down here. So if you want to draw an arrow, you can do that. The second thing we're going to do is to write the amount in the amount column. So write the amount of the service charge. And finally, we are going to calculate our new subtotal. Okay, so for example, on this one, we had a service charge of $8. I'm going to come over here to Other. I'm going to put service charge. And for the amount, I'm just going to, if I can write small enough, I'll put it in there. And then I'm going to, if I had more than one, I would add them all together. And I would put my $8 down here. Okay. So then I'm ready for writing a check. So until we write a check, oh, first of all, sorry, my subtotal. I'm going to write my new subtotal down here, which is $4,964. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and put away my checkbook until I'm ready to write a check. So now that we recorded it in our checkbook, we still have one more thing to do with it. We need to record it in our journal because if you remember, everything in accounting has to be journalized because this cash, debit, and credit has to equal what our bank records show. And if we don't put the $8 here, it's never going to match this balance. So the date that this happened was on the 31st. We're going to pretend we've been using this journal for a while. The account title, this is just going to be a miscellaneous expense. We could make it a bank expense, but we don't use bank expense enough to justify a whole account and account number for that. And so we know that there's not a bank account, or there's not an account for bank charges in Techno because we looked at the chart of accounts that we made. And so miscellaneous expense is the only thing this would really fit in. Okay. Whoa. I'll get it fixed here in a minute. Miscellaneous expense. Document number. Okay. How do we know about this? Well, when it came in on our bank statement, we actually made a memorandum for it. So this will be M3. We're going to leave the post reference blank because we're going to have to post this one into our miscellaneous account later. So it's going to be a debit of $8 because all expenses increase with a debit. And we're going to come over, and this is going to be a cash credit. Even though we didn't write a check for it, it's still a cash credit of $8 because we are deducting cash, and so all cash always decreases with a cash credit. Okay. So that is the end of section 5.2. We're going to go ahead now and look at your homework. We're going to do 5.2 work together. We're going to do that together. So in your book, you need to go to page 128. And in your workbook, you're going to be looking at page 95. When we get the work together finished, you're going to go ahead and do on your own. In the book on page 128, in the workbook on 96. Then you can go ahead and watch the video and it will show you the answers. Make sure you're right. And then for your actual homework, you're doing application problem 5.2. In your book, that's on page 140. And in your workbook, it's on page 103. So let's go ahead and get our workbook out and do the work together. Okay, here is our work together for 5.2. It looks like the instructions say on July 29th of the current year, Deep Clean received a bank statement dated July 28th. The following information is obtained from the bank statement and from the records of the business. So in your book, it is actually going to tell you the bank statement balance, the bank service charge, an outstanding deposit, And then we have 2 outstanding checks. It's also going to tell us what our check balance is on our next unused check stub. So we can go ahead and we will fill this out together. Oops. Okay, the date. This is going to be the date that we are actually doing our work. So this is not the date that's on the bank statement. This is the date we received it. And it says that we received this on July 29th of the current year. Oops. Okay, balance on the next unused check stub. In your book, it says the next unused check stub is number 106, and the balance shown on it is $1,575. Okay, is there any bank service charges? The book's telling us there is a bank service charge of $2, so here I'm just going to put service charge, and I can abbreviate that. And that is $2. Okay, there was no other service charges, so the total of my bank service charges is just the $2. My adjusted bank check stub balance, I'm going to take the balance that I was showing in my bank records minus the bank service charges, so I'm just going to subtract, and I'm going to get $1,573. Okay, coming over to the other side, the balance on the bank statement. This is what did the bank statement show. Now our book says the bank statement balance was $1,528. Was there any outstanding deposits? We know this because we went through and check marked any deposits that had come through on our bank statement. We had one that had not shown up, so it did not have a check mark. And our book tells us that that was a deposit made on July 28th. And it was for the amount of $150. Oops. Okay, that's the only outstanding deposit, so I'm going to come down here and list my $150. And then I have to get my new subtotal. So I'm going to take the bank statement and I'm going to add 150 to that. So here I have my calculator. So it is 1,528, and I'm going to I'm going to add my deposit of 150. So I'm going to get 1,678. Okay, next it wants me to deduct any outstanding checks. So I also know this because I went through and looked at my check register and I looked at what the bank statement provided and I put a check mark on the ones that matched, and I had a couple that did not have check marks, so those are outstanding. That was, first one is check number 103, and the amount of that one is going to be $70. And we also had check number 105, which is not cleared the bank yet. And the amount of that one was for $35. Okay, those are our only 2 outstanding checks. We're going to total those and put that total down here. So $70.35 is 105. And then I'm going to get my adjusted bank balance. I'm going to subtract this subtotal minus 105. Minus 105. It's going to give me 1,573. Okay, now here comes the magic. Is this number the same as this number? Yes, it is. So I'm going to say that we have done this problem correct. Okay. The second, next one it says is that we need to record this service charge on check stub number 106. So check stub number 106. We need to record our service charge. The balance brought forward on check stub number 106, it says is 1,575. So I need to go ahead and put that here. 1,575. I'm not lining up correctly. Okay, that's better. The date, we don't have a deposit we're listing. We're just going to come down here to other. So we're just going to put service charge. And the amount of that one is $8. There's no, or sorry, $2. And there is no other service charge, so I'm going to calculate, I'm going to come over here, list my $2. And I'm going to go ahead and calculate. To get my new subtotal, I'm going to subtract. So this is going to be 1,573. Okay. And then we are done recording that on our check stub. Next, we need to record in our journal that same service charge. We're going to use memorandum number 44, and this is journal page number 14. So we need to come over here, put down our journal page number 14. And we're already down to line 14, so we don't have to worry about the month. The day that we're recording this, it says we're doing everything on July 29th. Oops. Okay. We talked about earlier, if you have a service charge, we don't have its own account for it, so it's going to be called miscellaneous expense. This is going to be for document number, we're going to put M44. And the amount of this service charge was $2, so we're going to have a general debit of $2 because this is an expense account and it is increasing. And we're going to have a cash credit of $2 because our cash is decreasing. Okay, that one is recorded. So go ahead and do 5-2 on your own. Pause the video and then double check to make sure you got the right answers. Okay, we're back. This is 5-2 on your own, reconciling your bank statement. This is what you should have got. Your total adjusted balances should both be $3,591. Make sure that both of those match. If not, you need to go back and find your mistake. Okay, here I have recorded this on my next unused check stub, which was check stub number 119. I recorded my service charge, and then I'm going to come down into my journal and also record the service charge. So go ahead, and if you got this right, go ahead and start on your homework, which is going to be application problem 5-2. See you tomorrow.